Hello. Welcome to the Creative Design Experience brought to you by the Chiza from KNUST in collaboration with Learners Club and Guard Academy. And today's session, we are talking about social media graphics. So, once again, welcome to our social media graphics design course. So, in today's course, we are going to learn how to create social media designs, and for this is going for actually this is going to be the first session of this particular course. And the first session, we are going to learn how to design this particular happy birthday flyer you are seeing right here, so that you can do some for your friends. Actually. So without further much ado, we are going to get started. So first of all, when you come to Photoshop, this is what you are going to see. This is your home. So this is what you are going to see. So if this is your first time here, you're not going to see any of this here. This is because of my recent designs I've just done. So that's why you're seeing this. So when you come here on your left side, you see create new, you see open. So the open is used to open an already created Photoshop file, whereas the create new is used to create a new Photoshop file. So when I click on the create new, a dialog box appears. So on this dialog box, we have presets. We have the sizes. So for photos, sizes for photos, for print, for the print, when you come to the print side, you see letter, you see A4 sheet, A3, A5, A6, you see art and illustration, you see web, you see mobile. So mobile, when you're designing for mobile phones, you are designing interfaces for mobile phone, and film and video when you are trying to create presentations in Photoshop. So actually that's how it works. Now today's design, like I said, the birthday design, we are going to use social media Instagram size, the Instagram ratio, which is going to be in pixels. So you come to your right side of this particular dialog box, and we have preset details. You see width, and then beside the width you see pixels. So if you don't see pixels, click on it. You might see millimeters, you might see centimeters. Click on it and then click on pixels. So the drop list comes, and then you click on pixels. After clicking on pixels, set the width to 1080, and you come down, you see the height. So the height over here is going to be 1350. Now the resolution, we can set it to 200. If your machine is not good enough, you can set it to 100 or 150, so that it can go a little bit faster for you and not lag. So when you are done with that, for the rest, you leave it. You don't do anything with that, and then you click on create. When you create, this is what you are going to see. Actually, this interface is not what you are going to see, but then this is what you are going to see. Your interface is going to look something much like this. Yes, this is what you are going to see. So on your far right, you are going to see learn panel and then the libraries panel. So we can create more space by taking away these panels here, because you are not going to use the learn panel and the libraries panel at the moment. So you right click on the learn, the name. You right click on the name learn, and you see this list. Out of this list, you see close, and then you click on close. It goes away. The same thing for the libraries. Right click on the name libraries, the close comes, and then you take it away. Then you get much space on your screen. So when you come here, at the top here is your menu bar, and then your far left we have your tools. So your tools, we have your move tool. This is where you can find your rectangle. This is where you can find your type tool, where we used to type text. Now let's get started. So to get started, let me explain this before we continue. Layers. So layers over here is just that Photoshop, whenever you add something new to your canvas or your design, it keeps a list of it. So if I add a new rectangle, like I come to the tools panel on my left, and then I click on the rectangle, and then I draw a rectangle over here, you realize that in the layers panel at my right side, the bottom, you see that it has created a list here and it has named it rectangle 1. If I create another one, it calls it rectangle 2. If I create another one, it calls it rectangle 3. It gives a list of all the elements, design elements I have on my design. That's how it works. Now, with my move tool, that is the first tool on the tools panel. When I click on it, I can move any of the rectangles to wherever I want. I can move it to wherever I want. So that is how it works over here. Now I can select everything and then delete them by clicking on delete on my keyboard. So let's get started. So first of all, we are going to deal with our background first. So to create that particular background, we first of all come down where you have your layers panel. You see below, you see this particular circle which is half filled. Click on it, and then at the top you are going to see solid color. When you click on the half filled circle, you see from the list solid color. Click on solid color, and then you come a little bit to the white side, but not too white, but with a little bit of red here. Over here my code is FFDBDC. That's the hex code. The hex code is FFDBDC. So click OK. Now let's learn something new concerning the layer mask. So when you click when you create this particular solid color, what you see beside it is just a white box. That particular white box, click on it. Now go for your brush. When you click on the brush from your tools panel, otherwise you can use a shortcut. Just click on B on your keyboard to select the brush. So B, and then you select your brush. So I have my brush tool here. Make sure when you come to your tools panel, at the bottom you see two colors over there. You see black and white. Make sure that the one on top is black and the one below is what? White. So when the one on top is black, you can now what? Start painting. But then when I paint, I get white. When I paint, I get white. This is what happens. I am cleaning a part of that particular color I just pasted in on the canvas. So I am cleaning that particular part. So after cleaning that particular part, I have that. Now I can go to my move tool. Now I want to drop in an element, an image into my design. So I go to my file explorer, and then I drag my element. So I drag this particular leaf here, and then when I drag it here, you see that there's a box, this bounding box around it. I can click and drag the edges to resize this particular image, and then I can drag that particular image to wherever I want to position it. So if I want to reduce the size, I can click and drag the edges to reduce the size. You get me? So I can click and drag it to the edge like this. And then when I'm done, you come to the top. There's another bar below the menu bar, which is the options bar, which gives you the options now to accept your changes or to cancel your changes. Now I want to accept changes, so I'll click on the check mark over here. So when I click on it, it accepts this check mark. So now when you select something on your canvas and then you don't see this bounding box, you come to your options bar. With the options bar, you see show transform controls. Show transform controls. Click on it. So when you click on it, it gives you that, so that whenever you click on any element on your design, you'll be able to see, or you'll be aware that this is what has been selected. So now when I'm done with that, I'll bring another element. So with the same process, I'll go to my file explorer, and then I'll drag that particular element into my design. Click and drag the edge to resize, and then move it to where I want to put it, and then I'll click OK. So don't worry, with all these elements I'm going to share with you in the group, or I'm going to leave a link to download them below in the description below, so don't worry. Or you can also choose to download yours and then use them. Now let's learn something new over here too. So whenever when we want to create a depth in our design, and then most of the time what we use to create depth is shadows and blur most of the time. So to create such to create blurriness, we click on the element we want to blur. So this element, this leaf here, I want to blur it. I click on it and I go to my menu bar. You see filter. When I click on the filter, you see from the drop down list you see blur. When you click on blur or you hover over the blur, the list that pops up, choose Gaussian blur. So with the Gaussian blur, you can just click 4, or you can drag the arrow here, the line here to 4. So I choose 4 or click 4 here and then accept OK. So the same thing I'll do for this layer over here, or this element over here. So filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and then OK. Now I want to make sure that my background is uniform. I don't want colors, or I don't want multicolors something on my background. So this is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go down to where we went, the half filled circle below at the bottom of the layers, the half filled circle. So you click on it, you will see from the list color lookup over here. So when you click on color lookup, and then you come to your properties, when you come to your properties, you see that we have the first one, you have load 3D LUT. So click on the load 3D LUT, and then you can choose from the list over here. So we can choose maybe bleach bypass. If I don't like it, I can click on it and choose maybe candlelight.cube. If I don't like it, I can continue to change until I find what I want. But then I think I would like the candle blue, so I prefer the candle blue. So when I'm done, I'll just press enter. Now I can bring in my objects, or I can type my heading. So the heading is going to be happy birthday. So I'll come to the type 2 in my tools panel. Otherwise I can click on T to get a type 2, and then after that I'll just click where I want to write or type my text. So I can type my text, or I can even increase to see what I'm typing, or increase it to 24. Okay, now I want to type capital B small and then lowercase IRTH. They are all capital, or because of the font. So I can, in the properties panel, you see advanced. So click on advanced, and then it gives you these particular options. So in this panel, you see all caps. You see below, you see uppercase T, 2 uppercase T's, and then you click on it to make sure that you get the difference. If you click on the 2 uppercase T, you get all your letters you get all of them in caps. So you just click on it again to make sure that it reverts to normal sentence case. Now I don't want to use this font. The name of the font I am going to use is Afterglow. It's one word. You can download it from Google. So you just go and search on Google, you get Afterglow. So I'll just type Afterglow and then select it. Now after selecting, I can accept changes. Now after accepting changes, I'll click on my move tool. You see the edges, I can click and drag the edges to increase my size. like that. Now let's learn something new about type. There's something we call glyph. So some type come with glyph. So this type comes with its own glyph. Glyph is what? Glyph is just the stylish thing that some letters have. So let's see for instance, when I double click on this letter and then I select only the B, you realize that it gives me some options below the B where I can choose. This is that it comes with different styles. So I can select, let's assume I can select this or any of the B's I want. So until I find the one I want this. So I can select this and then accept changes. Now let me bring it below so that I can see the whole thing well. So you see what I mean? This is what we call glyph. Some of the text, some of the fonts come with this style. So I can duplicate this particular layer by going to my layers. That is the list that Photoshop has kept here. Right click on the name and then you see at the top duplicate layer. So when I click on duplicate layer, this pop-up comes or this dialog box comes and then I'll click OK. Now it has been duplicated. So but you cannot see because it lies on the original. So I can drag and bring it below so I will see that it's 2. So now I'm going to double click on it and then type the day. So capital D and lowercase ay. So now with the D2 I can choose a glyph for it. So when I select the D and then you see that there's this drop that comes. So I can select any of this. So I think I like the second one. Let me keep that. Now I can reposition it like that. This is what I want. So this is my head. It's left with the happy. Now with the happy, because it is very small, we are not going to make it so stylish. We are going to use a normal sans serif font, one popular font face called Montserrat. It's very readable and very visible even when it is small. So we click or we choose our type 2 and then we click anywhere else and then we come to our font face and then change it to Montserrat from the properties. So when I type Montserrat, it comes and then I choose Montserrat medium. So after choosing Montserrat medium, I can type my happy. Now I want to make it all caps. So what do we do? Like I said we did earlier, you come to your properties, click on advanced, and then you see what? The 2 uppercase T's. Click on it and then it will be all caps for you. You are done. So now you just accept changes. Now you cannot move with your type 2, so you have to go back to your move to and then you move it to where you want to move it to. But then I want to resize it, make it a little bit smaller. I can choose to come to the font size and change it to about 16 or 18 and then put it there. I can create contrast by giving it a different color like black. So from my properties, I'll see color. When I click on the color, I can drag to the bottom. I can drag from top to the bottom, drag, and then I'll get color black. Otherwise, you come to your hex code side and type 000000. It's 6 zeros. So, and you click OK. Now, to zoom out and to zoom in, we use Control plus and Control minus to zoom out. Control plus to zoom in, Control minus to zoom out. But if you want to zoom out to the original size of the file, you can click Control or Command O. And then I'll get my original size like this. Now, I can go in for the picture of my friend I am doing the birthday flyer for. So what I'll do is I go to my file explorer and then I'll drag the image of the of my friend over here and release. So now, like I said earlier, we can click and drag the edges towards raise size or to scale this image. So I can click and drag this to resize it. Now I can accept changes. But then the background, how do we get rid of it? So Photoshop has AI generative way of helping us select the subject from its background. So what we do is, with your picture selected, you click on the picture, you come to the top over here. From your menu bar you see select, click on select, and then you click on subject. So when you click on subject, you wait a while, Photoshop will do the magic for you. After selecting, you realize that at the bottom over here it didn't select everything here. I don't know whether you can see, but if you can't see, what you can do over here is you can come to your tools panel, the fourth tool. We have quick selection tool. Quick selection tool. With your quick selection tool, you can drag over the parts you want to select. You want Photoshop to add to your selection, and then we have this, and then we come back. So for me to move like that, I'm holding spacebar to move. So now this is how it's the selection goes. Now if I want to get rid of the background, you come to where the layers are. At the bottom you see this square with a circle within it. When you hover over it, they say add layer mask. When you click on that square with a circle within it, you get rid of your background. As simple as that. Now I can click on my move tool, move my picture over here a little bit down like that. That's it. Now I can also select my elements over here, move it a little bit down here. I can also move this a little bit down. So this is how it goes. Now I want to create the +1 to show that, oh yes, she is +1 today. So I'm going to my rectangle tool, right click on it, and then it gives me different shapes to pick. So we have rectangle, rounded rectangle, ellipse tool, and polygon line, and custom shape tool. So with the ellipse tool, that is the circle we want. So you click on ellipse tool and then you draw your circle. But see something, the circle isn't regular, but when we hold shift, the circle becomes regular. So remember, when you are drawing circles, make sure you hold shift and then you release your mouse before you release your hand on the shift. Now after this, we can duplicate this circle again. So how do we duplicate? Right click, you see duplicate layer, this pop-ups, and then you click OK. It has been duplicated. And then we come to our move tool, click the edge to resize. Now we want it to maintain the center position where it is. We don't want it to scale to maybe the left or scale to the right. We want it to scale from within. So what we do is we hold Alt while clicking and dragging the edge. But remember to hold your shift to maintain the size or the regularity. So like that. So holding shift and Alt, I clicked and dragged the edge. After that, I accepted my changes, and then you come to your properties panel. We have your shape details. Over here we have the color and then the stroke. So the color red, I click on the color red. You see this white with red line crossed with red line across it. Click on it, it gets rid of that, and then you come to the one that was beside it, and then you pick your color. So it gives it a stroke. Set the stroke to about 3, and then you see this. You see this. Now I can zoom in and then type +1 today. So I click on my type tool, come here, and then I type +1 today. They are all in caps because you remember we came here to click on the all caps. So click again to make sure that they are not. Now realize that there are no spaces in between the words, so we can increase the space by coming here to the leading side where we click and then you choose a different, so you look at your font size and then you know what to choose. So my font size was 18. I chose 18. I think the space is too much, and then I'll come one step back to 16. I think it's okay. Now I can select my move tool and then move it into the circle. Please, designing is when you are able to adjust the element to make sure that it obeys the design principles. So after dragging it there, don't leave it there. Make sure that it abides with the design principles. Create breathing space within the circle. Create some white space. So what we do is reduce it a little. Reduce it a little by clicking and dragging the edge, or click Ctrl T to transform it, and then accept changes. Now remember we did contrast, so you click on the color and then you choose white. So let's zoom out. We have this +1 today. Now let's come to the name. So with the name, I can select my type tool and then come here and type the name over here. So what I can do with the name is I want to use a different font, and the name of the font face is Big Shoulder Display Extra Bold. Big Shoulder Display Extra Bold. So I can type the name Mame Ajwa Kunedu over here. So with that name, I can also select the color I want. So when you come to the properties, you see color, click on the color and then you choose any color you want, but make sure it's a color we've already used. Don't use so much colors. So you can pick a color like this. You realize that when I hover over the birth, you see this. When I hover on my design, you see this color picker, this eyedropper thing. So you click on the color you want to copy. So you click on this color and it copies that particular color, and then you click on OK. Now you can see there's no contrast. You cannot read the name very well. So what we can do is we go to our shape, right click, and then select rectangle. So with the rectangle, we can create one white rectangle behind our text.